Walking connects us to the glorious world around us, which we so often lose touch with in our busy everyday lives. It's good for our health and lifts the spirits like nothing else.
That is the most incredible view I have ever seen.
More and more people are feeling the benefits of this simplest form of relaxation.
Walking is about getting fit in body, mind and soul.
Being in nature gives me such a sense of the sacred.
And in this series, we're going to be joining them.
I'm Marine Baig.
And I'm JB Gill.
Come join us as we celebrate the joy, wisdom and beauty to be found not only in Britain's incredible religious spaces.
There's something really special when you enter a place like this.
But in its people as well.
You're really casting everything else away, all the problems of the day.
It's so important for our well-being.
If you're mindful and spend time in the present moment, then you'll have a much richer life.
We'll be discovering Britain's hidden cultural and historical treasures.
Imagine what this would have been like in its former glory. Unreal.
And unearthing an array of special places that can bring peace and spiritual fulfillment.
Dartmoor is my temple. Dartmoor is my cathedral.
No matter where you live, there's some trail or route you can walk. So put on your walking boots, put your best foot forward.
As we embark on some walks of life. This time I'm walking through the stunning landscapes of one of Britain's most beautiful counties, Cornwall. I want to explore how this dramatic landscape has shaped the lives of the people that live within it. Its heritage runs deep, not only above the ground, but also beneath it. Built on a rich seam of mineral rocks, Cornwall is mining country and was once the world's leading supplier of tin. So I want to understand how the pits shaped this place, its population, and their beliefs.
The miners were poorly educated and they didn't really understand the Church of England services.
So they could find a sense of identity here?
Yes.
I'll be walking in the footsteps of a man whose preaching struck a major chord with the working classes here, building a faith that's still going strong today. This is what I love about music. When you have voices singing in unison and harmony, there is no better sound. I'll embrace my inner pole dark.
Yellow's my colour.
Descending hundreds of feet underground to experience the conditions miners endured to make their living.
It's very dark. I mean, that felt pretty treacherous to me.
Before heading off the beaten track to a retreat centre dedicated to harnessing the peace and serenity of the natural world.
And as you bring the hands down, you're opening up the back and you're connecting with the yang side of the body.
My journey will end at one of the most bizarrely located churches I've ever encountered. And I'll find spiritual guidance in the most unexpected of places.
We believe God loves surfers as much as anybody else in this world.
I'll be walking through the most southwesterly area of England, starting my Cornwall adventure in the outskirts of a town called Red Ruth. Located in a steep wooded valley, Red Ruth is surrounded by working farms and open heathland, all happily connected with a brilliant network of accessible walkable trails. With ruins of bygone ages strewn across the countryside, there's a slightly haunting feel about this area, especially on a day like this. My walk today hasn't got the brightest outlook. It's kind of like a cross between a mist and a light drizzle, something the Cornish call a mizzle. My research tells me that Cornwall has always been a county rich in mineral rocks. Mining first began here in the Bronze Age, but this landscape wasn't really put on the map until the 19th century, when machinery made it possible to extract tin and copper on a mass scale. As thousands of people headed south to join the tin rush, Red Ruth became one of the largest and most profitable of the new mining towns that sprung up. This ruin behind me is evidence of a once thriving copper and tin mining industry. This is Smelting Smelting Works, which was established in 1887 and was the biggest smelting works in Cornwall. Smelting is the process that extracts the metal from the rock ore that's removed from the ground. At one stage, there were 50 tin mines in this area, and the rock extracted from all of them was brought here to be processed and then shipped off for sale around the world. This really is a ruin. It's quite creepy. It feels a bit like a graveyard, but you can tell that it's steeped in history. At one time, more than 200 people would have worked this site, toiling in extreme temperatures created by 4 massive furnaces. The trade in metals generated untold wealth for the owners of the facilities around here. In fact, at one point, this unassuming area of the county became known as the richest square mile in the world. There you go, you can see in the back there on the horizon a lot of the chimney stacks that would have formed part of the mines and smelting works in this area. By the start of the 20th century, competitors abroad had begun to mine tin and copper much more cheaply, and the Cornish industry started to decline. Smelting closed for good in 1931, but it's since been preserved as a memorial to a way of life that once defined Cornwall. And it's this relationship between the land, the job you do, and the beliefs you hold that has inspired this journey today. I'm a farmer by trade and Christian by faith. I moved to the countryside to get away from the craziness of the music industry. And I've learnt to find great solace in the tranquility of working the land. And on this walk, I want to find out if others feel the same. I'm walking the route of the old Mineral Railways trail that once connected Red Ruth to more than 2,000 tin mines that were dotted across the county. And from the mines to the coast, where the raw materials were exported. Out of Smelting, the landscape changes from open heathland to more isolated footpaths, surrounded by enclosed hedgerows and low-hanging trees that threaten to envelop the humble walker. You're not quite underground, but you do know it's quite scary. It's a bit like going through an enchanted wood. After 2.5 miles, I emerge into the small village of Gwennup. My guidebook tells me that at the peak of the mining industry, thousands of miners became practicing Methodists, and I'm told it all started here at a place called Gwennup Pit. The founder of Methodism, John Wesley, regularly came to preach at a spot on this site, and it's immediately clear this is a special place indeed. Wow, this is quite magnificent. And you can get a real sense of anticipation as you walk up those steps and stumble across this behind all these houses. You can really see why Wesley made this one of the most iconic sites for the Methodist Church. Wesley believed in what's called the assurance of salvation, or the right of everyone to know God loves them and forgives them, regardless of how humble their background. Specifically targeting working class communities across England, Wesley first came to Gwennup in 1762. At first, he preached in a nearby building, but as his message took hold, a bigger space was required. He chose this deep hollow, created when mining underneath caused the ground to collapse. This is what John Wesley wrote about the first time that he preached here. The wind was so high that I could not stand at the usual place of the village of Gwennup. But a small distance was a hollow, capable of containing many thousands of people. I stood on one side of this amphitheatre towards the top, and with people beneath on all sides. I enlarged on those words in the gospel for the day. Blessed are the eyes which see the things that ye see, hear the things that ye hear. That would have been something in this space, for sure. Methodism took hold in Cornwall like no other county in the UK. And John Wesley preached here 18 times. This hollow was restructured with 13 rows of turf seats, which today are looked after by the Friends of Gwennup Pit. Tony Langford is the chairman. Hello, Tony. How you doing?
Very well, thanks. And you?
Nice to meet you.
And you.
So just tell me, why was Wesley so important to the mining community?
Him and his brother Charles, they wanted to revitalise the Church of England because they thought it was not very lively at the time. And so they started travelling, and they were told that there was all these mining in Cornwall, so down they came to speak. And the miners and their families were the main people who came to listen to them. Because, you see, they were poorly educated and they didn't really understand the Church of England services, for one.
So they could find a sense of identity here?
Yes.
And with Wesley?
And with, yes.
So what was the difference between what Wesley did then and what the Church of England were doing in the day?
They were less formal, and he spoke to them about things that affected their lives. And also they sang hymns, which were written by his brother Charles. And of course they were much more lively than the hymns they would have had in the Church of England at that time.
And just how important do you think Methodism and Wesley was to the people here?
Oh, it was very important. But of course Wesley never actually intended it to become a separate denomination. He only wanted to revitalise the Church of England, and that really happened after his death. After he died, all these Methodist chapels sprung up all over Cornwall.
Is there a sense of spiritual significance here?
Oh yes, very much so. People come from all over the world, actually, to visit Gwennup Pit. People come here to sit and to pray, and they find it very helpful.
Yeah, well, it's very peaceful, very quiet.
Yes.
Very tranquil as well. You can see how people would have gathered their thoughts and especially nowadays, come and sit here and just take time out.
Yep.
This site has remained revered to Methodists ever since. Around 1,500 people return here every year to celebrate the annual feast day of Pentecost, and there are still over 200 Methodist chapels open for worship across Cornwall. Tony informs me the original hymns composed by Charles Wesley remain hugely popular in these parts, and suggests I visit the choir at the village of 4 Lanes nearby. And I am never one to turn down a sing-song. As I march on, I encounter the ghost-like remains of numerous tin mines long since closed. I can't help but imagine how devastated the local economy must have been when it died. It's no surprise to me that so many would have turned to their faith for comfort. Today, 4 Lanes, a village with a population of just over 1,500, feels more suburban than subterranean. In this and other communities like it, the local pits may be long gone, but the cherished mining tradition of the male voice choir very much lives on. I'm looking forward to this, getting the old vocal cords warm. But it sounds like they're in full voice, so let's go in and check it out. Many of these men are ex-miners or descendants of miners, and they aren't half bad. A few years back, they won the title of Best British Choir. This is what I love about music. When you have voices singing in unison and harmony, there is no better sound. Amazing, guys. Well done.
Hello there. Nice to see you.
Nice to meet you.
Welcome to Fortnite.
One of the longest serving members of the group, Kingsley, is going to be my guide to the Cornish choral tradition. How long have you been part of the choir?
Almost 63 years.
Wow.
63 years next month, actually.
Amazing.
A long time. I've enjoyed every minute of it. I really have, you know.
What do you enjoy so much?
Well, I enjoy singing, obviously, but I enjoy the companionship of the people. You know, some of these chaps I've known all my life. Some are new, because, you know, membership changes over the years.
And is singing important to the Cornish way of life?
Oh, most definitely, yes. There used to be choirs in many villages, and brass bands in many villages, come to that. But singing's played a big part, because there were chapels in every village. And, of course, with the mining side of things, many miners sung underground.
And why do you think singing was so important to the mining community?
They probably didn't have very much else, really. They weren't rich people by any means. They went to work in the dark. They worked underground. When they came back up again, it was dark. And so they sang for pastime, really. And then on Sundays, most of them went to chapel.
I don't want to hold up rehearsals for too long, and I'm chomping at the bit to join in.
What do you sing?
Probably tenor.
Oh, dear. You can't help that. Well, I'll stay here, but it's really against my religion to sing tenor.
Are you a bass?
I am a bass, yes.
I don't mind singing bass.
Oh, you can come up and sing bass with me.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right, then, you lead the way.
Okay.
I might have had 5 number ones with JLS, but there was only 4 of us. There's nothing like harmonising with 60 other bandmates. It sends shivers up my spine.
Love divine, all love's excelling, fixed in us thy humble dwelling, all thy faithful mercies crown. Be true thou art all compassion, pure unfounded love thou art. Visit us with thy salvation, enter every trembling heart.
Well done, JB.
Kingsley, how was that? Did I do well?
You did, yes. I think you passed the audition.
That's what I'd like to hear. It's nice to have a fair few more voices than I'm used to standing next to me singing. So thanks, Kingsley.
But lovely to see you.
No worries, you too. And thanks, guys. See you soon. This choir is living proof that the principles instilled by Wesley all those years ago continue to inspire the working communities across Cornwall. You can tell why music is my first love. That was absolutely fantastic and a great thing to be part of. The heritage of mining and Methodism feels like it runs as deep in this part of Cornwall as the mines themselves. It's an inspiring way to end the day. In the morning, I'm refreshed, up and back out on the road. My route takes me toward the hamlet of Trenear in Wendron. It's a rolling landscape of green fields and moorland, a quiet country village unspoilt by industry. I'm keen to find out what life must have been like for the men from this area who dedicated their lives to the pursuit of tin. From the late 1700s, this area of Wendron became part of the Cornish mining boom because of its rich deposits of tin. And now, this mine behind me is a World Heritage Site and the only tin mine still open to the public. Here we are, the Poldark mine. Winston Graham's hugely popular series of 14 Poldark novels have been adapted twice by the BBC, most recently in 2015. They tell the story of Ross Poldark, an army officer who comes home to Cornwall and reopens his family's derelict mine in a bid to restore its fortunes. This place used to be known as Wheel Roots Mine, but it was renamed in honour of Cornwall's most famous son in the mid-70s. Though it closed for business before the turn of the 19th century, its network of tunnels remains open to visitors. I've never been in a mine before, so this is going to be a new experience for me, but no idea what to expect. I'm not claustrophobic, but I must admit I'm feeling slightly uneasy about what's in store. Last night, a man called Kingsley helped me through the choir practice, and now I'm relying on another Kingsley to get me out of this place safe and sound. And this is Kingsley.
Nice to see you. Welcome to Poldark.
You too, thank you very much. So what's the plan today?
Well, you'll need a helmet because you're going underground, so have a helmet.
Yellow's my colour. Here we go.
You're looking just the man. Come on then, let's go in underground.
This is the start of the mine, is it?
This is the start of the mine, yes. You're now in real mining tunnels, so mind your head, of course.
Wow, it gets dark really quick.
It's going to be quite dark down here.
As we descend, it's like stepping back in time. The narrow passages are encased on all sides by faceless walls of rock, and I can't help but feel on edge. What was the tin that was mined used for?
Well, it really was for use in making pewter, which of course is an alloy, and they were able to make plates and useful bits and pieces like that, because the great thing about tin is that it doesn't rust or it doesn't deteriorate, doesn't tarnish at all.
When operational, this mine was hugely profitable. But Kingsley tells me the profits were very rarely used to improve conditions for the workforce. And was it a hard life?
It was certainly hard work, very, very heavy work. And in the early days, like this mine, it was all really hard, physical, hammer, hammer, hammer.
In the earliest days, there were no cages to haul miners up and down, so the workers had to rely on a network of ladders to reach the levels where the rock could be extracted. I mean, just coming down that passage, it's very, very tight. As you go deeper, it gets a lot wetter as well. And it isn't just narrow, it's slippy too. The process of mining releases groundwater that's naturally held in the Earth's crust. So even now, it's a constant battle to keep it out. How much water did they have to extract in, I don't know, a day?
Well, this is a comparatively small mine and quite shallow, and we're pumping 65,000 gallons a day.
Wow.
So that's an awful lot of juice.
All miners were expected to work 10-hour days, 6 days a week. On top of that, they were responsible for buying their own tools, candles and dynamite, an added strain on an already meagre wage. Bronchitis, TB and rheumatism were all common ailments, not to mention the constant risk of trips, rockfalls and floods. Few were fit to work much beyond the age of 40, so it's easy to see why so many people were keen to find meaning beyond the mines. How did Methodism play into the lifestyle of the miners?
Wesley came to Cornwall to begin with in 1743, and he obviously had quite a charisma and an aura because he soon gathered followers. So they were obviously searching for something, and it may be that the very hard conditions they worked in made them perhaps turn to Methodism to just help their hard life.
We've been descending for well over 10 minutes now, and Kingsley shows no sign of slowing down. Quite a lot wetter, isn't it?
Oh yes, it will. It'll get much wetter the deeper you go.
Little drip down my neck. The further into the mine we go, the more I feel for all those people who have gone before me. A miner's life does not appeal. I mean, that felt pretty treacherous to me. Just walking through, coming all the way down. It's very dark, and I can imagine what it was like for the miners living here and working here in the 1700s and 1800s. Oh, hard work. Eventually, we come to a halt. It was tiring enough just getting here. Imagine having to do a full day's labour when you arrived.
You've just now realised that you're out of breath coming up a relatively shallow depth, but imagine coming up 1,000 feet on ladders. And many of them, miner, actually were so tired, he let his grip go and just fell off. So yes, mining was quite dangerous. You also got another problem in the mines. Once explosives came in, gunpowder, they often had misfires because nobody had invented a safety fuse, and so they used to light it and run. Well, sometimes they misjudged it, and you know, it was very commonplace to see a miner with one eye and one leg and that sort of thing.
Today, the only people you're likely to find working down here are the television crews. And now this is used for the filming of the Pole Dark series, isn't it?
Yes, it is. That's right. And where we're standing is where the famous scene of Ross taking his shirt off and affecting all the ladies in Cornwall. All happened just here.
Well, I'll leave you to do the taking of the shirt off, shall I?
That's a very serious subject.
It's time to move on, and I can now really appreciate the links between the hard-working heritage of Cornwall and the beliefs of its people. Oh, broad daylight, finally.
Fresh air.
Well, that was hard work, and I was probably only in the mine for about an hour. And you get a sense of how difficult it would have been in those tight, dark spaces for the miners who were doing 8, 10, 12, even 14-hour shifts. And you can also see why they clung to the words of John Wesley and the hymns of Charles Wesley, and also the Methodist faith, because it was a very dark life that they were living, and it offered them hope and a positive outlook. I'm heading away from the dense settlements that grew up around the mines into a more open agricultural area. Today, agriculture is Cornwall's most profitable industry, and being a farmer myself, it's nice to see signs of its enduring presence. Now, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I know Cornwall for. It's got a huge farming community, and in the background there you can see the rolling hills, the farm buildings, a couple of cattle in this field, and it makes me feel like I'm at home. This area has a hardy climate with relatively frost-free winters and early springs, meaning Cornish farmers can produce crops all year round. And whilst those working below the ground all those years ago were attracted to the message of John Wesley, today, those above the ground are looking much further afield for their spiritual inspiration. In 2004, Joss Hadfield moved to this farm from Surrey to start a new life as a teacher of Tai Chi, an Eastern martial art and philosophy. She runs her classes and retreats in this absolutely spectacular converted barn. Hello, Joss.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Thank you for coming.
Oh, pleasure. Thank you for having me. It's a lovely space here, isn't it?
It's not bad.
And it used to be a dairy farm, didn't it?
This was actually the milking parlour originally. Mm-hmm. So when we came in here, there were 10 milking stalls in here.
And now you use it for Tai Chi, am I right?
If it hadn't been for Tai Chi, we wouldn't be here. Mm. And there's something about the elemental forces of Cornwall. And there is a strong connection with the land and the sea and the sky here, naturally.
So can you just give me a brief overview of what Tai Chi actually is?
I could try. It's a martial art, it's a soft martial art. It's from Taoist roots originally, which is from China, and Tao means going with the way, going with nature, being connected with the natural forces. Mm. So if you can be open and prepared to roll with life's punches, it makes it a little less painful. Doesn't take away the pain, but you have more tools to deal with it.
And does Tai Chi work alongside, I guess, other world religions or other types of spirituality?
Oh, for sure. Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's like yoga. Yoga actually is a spiritual practice, fundamentally. But everyone goes to the gym and does yoga, or not everyone, but many people can.
Of course, yeah.
Exactly. And Tai Chi is exactly the same thing.
Do you have a religion that you practice?
Yeah, I do. I do now. I was baptised and grew up in a Christian background. I still feel it's very much part of the fabric of my life. But now I am a card-carrying Buddhist, if you will. Buddhism for me offers that moral compass by which I guide my steps.
Shall we do some Tai Chi?
We should?
Come on then.
Okay.
Off to you.
Thank you.
While Joss has been practicing Tai Chi for over 25 years, this will be my first attempt. I hope she's as patient as she seems. How did you get into Tai Chi?
I was on holiday in Dartmoor, and the people we were staying with were great guys, and a lot of them were talking about Qigong and Tai Chi. And when we finished doing our activities on the moor in the evenings, they would show us what they did. And I thought, that looks a bit all right, I'll try that. So then after that, I came back up to Surrey, where we were living then, and signed up for an adult education class. So we need to find a flat bit of ground.
Yep.
And then get ready to move. So maybe take the rucksack off.
Yes.
Elsie, yes. Yes. Shh. Arms rising up, gathering in, and sinking the energy down.
Okay.
Feel the energy rising up.
From what I understand, Tai Chi is a moving meditation exercise for all parts of the body and the mind. It's meant to bring tranquility and helps you think more clearly. And with regular practice, it's said to improve health and wellness.
When you're dropping, just try to drop through the whole body.
Okay.
As you open up, you're opening up the front, connecting with the yin side of the body. And as you bring the hands down, you're opening up the back and you're connecting with the yang side of the body.
Okay.
So already you're working very subtly on all levels. Finally. In time. So that's the opening of the move, of the form, and coming in.
And do you have to be, I suppose, an expert to be able to tap into that, or is that something that you can do sort of from beginner?
No. Look at this. I'm tapping into this. There's no expert in that.
Brilliant.
Yeah. But you have to breathe.
Okay.
Breathing is important. Breathing is a fundamental for Tai Chi, for yoga, for meditation, and Tai Chi helps the breathing. It brings you back into your body to get you breathing holistically.
It's a very different kind of movement from my dancing days, but I am starting to feel the benefit. As well as the physicality of movement, meditation is key to Tai Chi, and Joss is going to guide me through it with the help of my backpack.
That's a bit better. Yeah. What we're trying to do is have the hips higher than the knees. Now, this isn't ideal, but this will do. We want the hips higher than the knees. That means that our spine can naturally align itself and be comfortable. Another big out breath. And another big out breath after that. So we're just letting the head be relaxed, neck to be free, back relaxed. Bringing our awareness to the danden, the lower danden in the belly, and letting the breathing just come naturally and freely without forcing it. You've made a promise, a contract. Stay still for a bit. Feeling the wind, hearing the sounds. Noticing the mind.
Before I know it, I'm lost in thought, focused entirely on the sounds of nature around me. And I have to say, it's incredibly relaxing.
So just gradually easing out, letting the eyes come up, and relaxing the body a little bit more. And when you're ready,
I'm ready for bed.
that's all right then.
It's really interesting though, because it's very clear that we as humans don't spend enough time, or the majority of us don't spend enough time just with our thoughts and at peace.
And it's so important for our well-being. What about your own spiritual work? How does that nourish you?
Oh, I suppose similarly. I mean, when you pray, or when I pray, it's a connection really with God as a creator. And so it's similar. You're really casting everything else away, all the problems of the day, whatever it might be, all your even physical aches, pains, whatever it might be, and just focusing on that communication, on that relationship. And this is very much similar. You know, you kept mentioning there, focusing on the breathing and coming back to that, because the mind does wander, even when you pray or whatever it is, especially if you're not doing something that's audible that you can keep track of.
Yeah, that helps.
Yeah, it does help to focus on one thing and come back to that. So very similar.
Yeah, and I think that's the role of the Tai Chi, because it's actually a physical thing that brings you back to.
That's it.
Brings you back to, and not just stops you going off on one.
Yeah.
Brings you back to source.
That's it.
However you call that source.
That's it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much.
Pleasure, thank you. It's been great. Okay.
Well, thank you very much, Joss. And all the best,
It's been a
okay?
pleasure, thank you.
Well, that was a lot of fun, and it was great to meet Joss and find out some of the things that she's been learning and teaching for the last 20-odd years. It's really interesting because this is the first time I've done anything like this before, and there's always an element of learning and understanding, and I always focus on what I'm trying to do. So I probably was overthinking it. I don't think I got as much out of it as Joss or someone who's a bit more experienced would get out of it, but I definitely could connect with what she was saying and the feelings that she was trying to put across, and especially with the meditation. You know, it's so easy, or often perhaps more difficult, to sit and just be quiet and still, and it was nice to be able to do that. It's a shame I've got to get back on the road now. Regardless of your faith, mindfulness techniques like Tai Chi have never been more popular in this country. I can't help but wonder whether they would have been beneficial to the miners working deep underground all those decades ago. The next leg of my journey takes me 2 miles south, away from the serenity of Rosiden Farm. I'm walking toward the most southerly town of mainland Britain, Helston, positioned just at the top of the Lizard Peninsula. Having been inland for most of my walk so far, I'm en route to Cornwall's most popular attraction, its magnificent coastline. But for now, my route takes me down country lanes and deeper into the beautiful Cornish countryside. For some reason in Cornwall it seems like the lanes are super narrow. There's hardly space to fit a car, let alone a person and a car. The landscape opens up to reveal the outskirts of Helston, and just before I reach the town, I come across something called Trellill Holy Well. You wouldn't fancy supping from it today, but in times gone by, the freshwater supply running through it was thought to have healing powers. The only thing I need to cure is my raging thirst, and frankly, I'm parched. Time for a quick pit stop. I've done quite a lot of walking through the countryside, so it's quite nice to be in a bit more of a town. I've arranged to stop off at one of the oldest pubs in this part of Cornwall. The town sits right at the edge of the Lizard Peninsula and was apparently at one time a port which silted up. The water may have long since disappeared, but the nautical theme remains. As soon as you walk in here, you can really smell that old school pub smell. Built in the 15th century, this was originally a monk's rest house. But after the dissolution of the monasteries during the reign of Henry VIII, it became a tavern, and has been brewing its own unique ales on site ever since. Called Spingo, which is Old English for strong beer, they now make 5 different varieties in the brewery out the back, and I've arranged to meet the man in charge. Hello, Gareth.
Hi.
I'm JB.
Nice to meet you.
You too. So what are we making in here?
Spingo Middle.
So what's the history of this particular beer?
This particular beer it was brewed for World War I for the soldiers coming back.
And this is malted barley, isn't it?
Yes, in warm liquor, or water, at 68 degrees for an hour and a quarter for the enzymes to break down the starches and convert them into sugars. So the liquid that we extract from steeping the barley is called wort, and it's just a lovely sweet sugary substance.
The wort is boiled with hops to add flavour and help preserve the beer. It needs to be left for around 2 weeks before it's ready to drink. There's already a batch on the go, bubbling away in this impressive vat, which is the same one that's been in use here since Victorian times. I'm eager to help, but there's only really one job left that needs doing: getting rid of the used barley. It's gathered into bags and sent to local farmers to feed cattle. So Gareth, how long have you been working here for?
I've been working here for 15 years, brewing for 10.
Do you feel like you're part of the history of this pub?
Absolutely, yes. It's a great honour to be brewing such a famous beer.
What do you think makes this pub so popular? Is it the ale?
I think it's the community as well as the ale.
Yeah. And that community has a real claim to fame to toast over its pints. Okay. I didn't realise we were coming behind the bar.
Oh, there you go. You want to pour pints?
Yeah, I've never done that before. The Blue Anchor is the oldest alehouse in the UK with its own on-site brewery. And I can't wait to taste what all the fuss is about. Then do you let it rest?
Yeah, let's pop it down for a second. Be a nice clear white line.
This is so cool.
Perfect pint.
That's it.
You're employed.
There you go, a pint of Spingo Middle. It's delightful.
Perfect.
Well, that's very smooth.
Excellent.
And sweet. Gareth, if it's all right, I'll take this and have my break.
Yeah, you crack on.
Thank you. Now, if you're ever in Cornwall, you've got to come down to the Blue Anchor pub, because this place is quite simply brilliant. The beer goes down a treat, but at 5%, and with the final leg of my journey still to come, I decide I'd better just stick to the one. But just as I get ready to leave, I'm drawn to a familiar noise towards the back of the pub. Oh, I think I can hear some singing in another room, so we'll go and check that out.
This is my Cornwall, and this is my
proper Cornwall, this is. These songs are traditional Cornish shanties, sung at sea to help sailors work in rhythm aboard merchant ships. We've even got harmonies going on, this is great. Like with the male voice choir, the industry may be long gone, but the musical heritage lives on. They sound pretty together at this point. I wonder whether they'll still be singing in time once they've polished off their pints of Spingo.
Don't think the dog's liking the singing.
Much as I fancy another sing-song session, I leave Helston and head south into the heart of the Lizard Peninsula, the most southern point of the British mainland. Soon, the ocean appears in front of me. And I get my first glimpse of the spectacularly rugged Cornish coastline. Oh, this is real Cornwall. Stunning beach at the end of the long walk. Though beautiful, these waters are famously treacherous. My guidebook tells me that historically, this area is known as the graveyard of ships because so many vessels ran aground on the vicious outcrops of rocks that pepper the shore. The pint of strong ale in my empty stomach, coupled with the bracing sea air, means I'm working up quite an appetite. So it's time for a traditional Cornish feast. Now you can't come to Cornwall without trying a Cornish pasty. They're even called a miner's lunchbox, and I'm as good as a miner now. The official dish of Cornwall, the county is awash with pasty sellers at almost every corner, including right here at Gunwallow Beach. Hopefully I'm in luck here. Hello.
Hi.
Can I order a traditional Cornish pasty, please?
Yeah. There you go. That'd be £3.50, please.
Perfect.
Did you know Aidan Turner was down here filming a few years ago? And he ordered a Cornish pasty as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
From Poldark?
Mm-hmm. They were filming the shipwreck scenes down here on the beach.
Oh, cool. Seems like I'm in good company. The traditional recipe for a pasty is meat, potato, swede, and onion, but there are many variations. And an old proverb says the devil would never come to Cornwall for fear he'd end up inside one. Right, time to see if the proof is in the pasty. Oh yeah, that's very good. Beef, onion, potato. Can't ask for much more than that. With my stomach lined, I'm feeling fit to march on. There's quite a sight waiting for me around the next bend, and I have to say, I've never seen a parish church on a beach before. Apparently, the very picturesque St. Winwallows has been here since the 15th century, so to hear the story of this place, I'm meeting local parishioners Priscilla and Michael. Hello guys, I'm JB.
Oh, pleased to meet you, JB. And this is Priscilla.
Hello, Priscilla. Michael tells me this is known locally as the Church of the Storms, and it's easy to understand why.
I think one of the outstanding beauties of this church is its position, and when we get a force 9-10 gale, you look through the door and see the waves pounding up the cliffs, and you can hear the wind, and yet in here it is an absolute haven. It's a shelter.
It's been a refuge, I think, throughout time, really. Somewhere that is safe, good solid granite walls,
yeah,
and you can come in and shelter.
There are lots of reminders here of the long-standing association with sailors and shipwrecks of the past. These two oak inner doors are said to have been salvaged from a 16th century vessel that ran aground on the rocks below. And what about the roof? That looks like it could be...
The roof goes back, we believe, to the original church back in the 1500s.
Amazing detailing, really, isn't it?
Yes. Somebody took a lot of time carving it.
Forgive me for saying this, but it does seem like this church is in the middle of nowhere almost. You know, there isn't too much around that I can see anyway. So what was the purpose of the church?
There was a medieval settlement just out here. And we believe the whole church, it's all part of it, but it's the only part that's now left.
This area was once home to a thriving fishing and farming community, but over the years, the population gradually moved away and congregations dwindled. The last remaining locals are determined to keep it alive. Is it still a functioning church?
Yes, although we've cut back on our number of services to twice a month now, the second and fourth Sundays of the month.
In fact, Father Shane's excellent because even in the middle of a service, if somebody comes in, he'll say, come in, wander around, you don't have to sit down, you know. And then they do and join in usually.
I always count the numbers in on a Sunday, and if we're 10 plus, we sing. But we don't have an organist, so I have to lead. And okay. I say to the congregation, well, I hope I pitch it right, and if we don't, if I pitch too high, you stand on the pews, and if I pitch too low, you kneel. But we are still a working church.
Just as the land led to the birth of the mining industry and Methodism grew up to serve the needs of the miners, it feels appropriate that those who devote their lives to the sea should have their own means of worship too. And this is brought to life in a truly unexpected way at my final stop, Gunwallow Cove Beach. As the lady in the pasty shop told me, this is where they film the shipwreck scenes in Poldark. And it's certainly screen-worthy. It's a nice walk down from the church to here. And I love coming to the beach. I'm used to Caribbean beaches though, a lot warmer than this. But I'm told that the water is as warm as it's ever going to be. I think these are the guys that I've come to see. They're not looking at me. Too busy trying to catch waves. Hello! Guys! We did definitely arrange to meet. They just seem a little swept up. Hello! These guys are the Cornwall branch of Christian Surfers UK. They spread their spiritual message to the 500,000 surfers who visit the Cornish coast every year. It's nice and windy.
Places.
JB. So you got your hands full, it's all right. How you doing?
David.
David and
Pippa.
Pippa.
Nice to meet you.
Hello guys. And you guys are the Christian Surf and what is it? The Christian Surfers Club?
Christian Surfers UK.
Christian Surfers UK. So how does that work?
Well, basically we're passionate about our faith, but we're passionate about our surfing. And the best people to reach the surfers are the surfers. And so 30 years ago in Australia it started with just a little group of people just coming together. And then about 28 years ago in the UK came and said we could do the same thing here for this mad bunch of surfing community. And that's, so 28 years in the UK really.
Well, surfing is intrinsic to Cornwall. I mean, I've been dying to come and try my hand at surfing while I've been here. How did you get into, I guess, working with Christian surfers then?
I think a friend of mine told me about it. It's just something that really strung a chord with me, really, for kind of staying in Cornwall and combining my faith and surfing. I was starting to get really passionate about.
And it's helped shape your future, hasn't it? Because this is your lovely wife, Pippa.
I met Pippa through Christian surfers.
The Christian surfers are drawn from all denominations and are united in the belief that God can be seen and experienced in nature. Their goal is to encourage others to feel the same, and incredibly, they have chapters in over 35 countries worldwide. Amazing. I think it's fascinating that you're able to link, I suppose, your faith with a pastime.
Yeah, I think a lot of surfers say that surfing is quite a spiritual thing, and being out in the water feels quite spiritual, kind of connecting with nature, and for us that feels quite natural, that our faith and what we love and what we're passionate about is a way of worshipping God, and kind of just getting the chance really through Christian surfers just to share that love of God and how much He loves us and with other people is just a real kind of honour to do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So is the purpose recreational then, or is it to, I suppose, live and share that gospel message?
It's definitely to live and share the gospel message. We just happen to be very fortunate. It's a sport we love. But definitely we believe God loves surfers as much as anybody else in this world.
Yeah.
And do you find that you get people wanting to join the organisation after they get to know you?
Yeah.
Even in recent years, we seem to kind of new faces come along all the time, really. A lot of people, they're kind of just getting into surfing, and then they already have a faith, and then they see that there's other people already out there combining their faith and surfing, and it's just kind of being part of that community is just really encouraging.
But what we do is we serve, they get to know us, and you never know what questions they'll come and ask. And it's amazing how many times people will come to us when things aren't great and say, I remember those Christian Surfers crew, I wonder if they'll help out or pray for me or whatever, and that's the great thing. It breaks down sort of preconceived ideas about what faith is, and we're just a normal bunch of people who are passionate about the sport as well as them.
Brilliant. Well, as a Christian, it would be rude for me not to come to Cornwall and try to surf.
Definitely.
So, will you show me what to do?
We'll give it a go.
Yeah, let's do it.
For sure.
I am more used to putting on a pair of wellies than a wetsuit, but I'm hoping with a little bit of tuition, I'll be fine. Okay, I'm ready.
Okay.
Ready as I'll ever be.
Cool. It's going to be awesome.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it. So where do I start?
So the first thing we need to know is whether you're natural or goofy foot. There's no issues either way, it just tells you which foot is your forward. So just fall forward and see which foot naturally just comes out. So do that a couple of times. Okay, so that was your left foot, just do it one more time.
Okay.
So there you go, so you're natural. So
Yeah.
the most important thing is the leash, which is a great safety thing, will be on your back foot.
Okay.
Just to give you an experience today, we're just going to literally walk you out. I'll be behind you and we'll just push you into some waves and we'll tell you when to start paddling and when to stand up, and we'll just see if we can enjoy ourselves.
Definitely, let's do it.
Let's get in there.
Okay, so we'll give you this board today.
And is there anything that you do before you get into the water?
Yeah, I mean, we like to have a pray, just thank God for having the opportunity to go for a surf.
And keep people like you safe.
Exactly. Without further ado.
Okay. Shall I pray it up?
Yes, absolutely.
Lord, we want to thank you for your amazing playground. I want to thank you for the opportunity we have and just to keep us safe. Amen.
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 Let's go.
Surf's up. I was right, it is too cold. But I'm pleased to finally be having a go. The guys tell me there are 88,000 surfers in this county alone. Like religion, surfing really is part of Cornwall's DNA. And once I stop fearing for my life, I really do start to feel at one with the ebb and flow of the water. Even if I only just manage to stand up. Thanks, guys.
It's all good.
Well, I'm finally dry and I've got my boots back on. And it's fair to say that the landscape of Cornwall is stunningly beautiful. But not only that, its spiritual roots run deep. The history with the Methodists and the miners, Charles Wesley, John Wesley, but also the community of surfers that live here now. All of them have used this landscape to inspire and improve their lives, and it's been a joy for me to come and walk here and get to know it myself.